Hollywood is on fire today, and the tea is scalding hot. Jennifer Garner has finally had enough of Blake Lively's innocent act and is calling her out for what she really is, a serial homewrecker. That's right, America's sweetheart Jennifer. Garner has receipts proving that Blake stole Ben Affleck from her. And guess what? She's not the only one spilling the tea. Big names like Scarlett Johansson and even Kate Middleton have chimed in, and it turns out half of Hollywood has a Blake Lively problem. So grab your popcorn, because we're about to spill all the juicy details. Let's start with the biggest. Bombshell. Jennifer Garner has been holding on to some serious resentment toward Blake Lively for years, and it all goes back to 2010. That's when Blake starred alongside Ben Affleck in The Town, a movie he not only acted in but also directed. At the time, Ben and Jennifer were supposed to be a happily married couple, raising 3 kids and celebrating their 5th wedding anniversary. From the outside, they looked like the perfect Hollywood power couple. But behind the scenes, things were already getting messy. The moment Ben cast 23-year-old Blake Lively as his love interest, Jennifer was immediately suspicious. And honestly, can you blame her? Ben was 38 at the time, a whole 15 years older than Blake, and he, specifically, wrote multiple intense make-out scenes between their characters. If that wasn't enough to make Jennifer uneasy, the undeniable chemistry between Ben and Blake on set was the final nail in the coffin. During the press tour for The Town, fans and reporters couldn't help but notice how flirty Ben and Blake were during interviews. They exchanged lingering looks, shared inside jokes, and had that unmistakable energy of 2 people who were more than just co-stars. It was so obvious that even the media started speculating about whether there was something going on behind the scenes. And if that wasn't enough to raise eyebrows, right around this same time, Blake suddenly broke up with her long-term Gossip Girl boyfriend, Penn Badgley. Coincidence? I don't think so. But wait, it gets even shadier. This wasn't even the first time Ben Affleck was caught in a cheating scandal. Back in 2003, when he was engaged to Jennifer Lopez, he met Jennifer Garner on the set of Daredevil. They claimed to just be friends, but within a few months, boom. Both Ben and Jennifer Garner were suddenly single and dating each other. Fast forward to 2010, and it seemed like history was repeating itself. As the saying goes, how you get them is how you lose them. Sources close to Jennifer Garner say she was furious about what was happening with Blake, but tried to keep things together for the sake of their family. She didn't want to believe that Ben would betray her, but the evidence kept piling up. Late-night phone calls, secret meetings, and undeniable chemistry between Ben and Blake made it impossible to ignore. The biggest confirmation came when Ben started becoming more distant, spending less time at home, and prioritizing his work, especially anything involving Blake. Even though Jennifer tried to hold on, the cracks in their marriage were growing, deeper. It was only a matter of time before everything came crashing down. And when it did, the truth about Blake's role in their split became undeniable. But Blake wasn't done wreaking havoc yet. Her trail of destruction was only just beginning. By 2014, things had reached a breaking point between Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck, and she wasn't taking any chances. She had already been through enough heartbreak, and there was no way she was going to let history repeat itself, especially not with Blake Lively still lurking in Hollywood. That's why, when Ben was offered a role in a film that involved working with Ryan Reynolds, Jennifer immediately shut it down. She wasn't about to risk Blake somehow finding her way back into Ben's life. A close source at the time revealed just how firm Jennifer was about this decision. Jennifer Garner straight up banned Ben from taking the role because she knew it would eventually mean dealing with Blake Lively again. And after everything that had already happened, she wasn't going to let that happen. And honestly, can you blame her? This wasn't just a case of petty jealousy. Jennifer had already seen the damage Blake caused to her marriage, and she knew that if given the opportunity, history might repeat itself. She had already given Ben too many chances, and this time, she was putting her foot down. Of course, Blake had already moved on from Ben Affleck at this point. First, she had a whirlwind romance with Leonardo DiCaprio in 2011, and then she quickly found herself in the arms of Ryan Reynolds. But just because she had a new man didn't mean the scars she left on Jennifer and Ben's marriage magically disappeared. The damage was already done. Ben, unable to repair the trust in his marriage, began spiraling into even worse behavior. We all know how that ended, with him getting caught in yet another scandal, this time involving their children's nanny. That final betrayal was the breaking point, and by 2015, Ben and Jennifer announced their separation. The divorce was finalized in 2018, officially ending their marriage. Even years later, Jennifer still refuses to be anywhere near Blake Lively. When she worked alongside Ryan Reynolds on The Adam Project, fans were quick to notice that Jennifer never did press events where Blake was present. And when it was announced that she would be reprising her role as Elektra in Deadpool and Wolverine, the same thing happened. Jennifer and Blake never crossed paths publicly. That's how deep the resentment runs. But here's the thing. Jennifer Garner isn't the only A-lister who has a major problem with Blake Lively. If you thought the drama with Ben Affleck was messy, just wait until you hear what happened with Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett and Ryan Reynolds seemed like the perfect Hollywood couple when they tied the knot in 2008, just 6 months after they started dating. They were young, successful, and completely in love. But that love? It didn't last long. Because as soon as Blake Lively entered the picture in 2010 during the filming of Green Lantern, the rumors started swirling. And just like with Ben Affleck, things got messy fast. The tea just keeps getting hotter, and now we're diving into Blake Lively's messy history with Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson. Crew members from Green Lantern were quick to spill the tea. Apparently, Ryan and Blake were way too cozy on set. One insider even revealed Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were sneaking out of their trailers to get a hotel room together while filming. If that wasn't suspicious enough, the final nail in the coffin? Scarlett Johansson didn't even show up to the Green Lantern premiere. Instead, Ryan and Blake strutted down the red carpet together like they were already a couple. Talk about disrespectful. And just 1 month later? Boom, Ryan and Scarlett publicly announced their divorce. Now, Scarlett has always kept things classy. In public, but behind the scenes. Sources say she gets frosty whenever Blake's name comes up. One insider even noted that Scarlett has avoided eye contact with Blake at events and has skipped out on occasions where she knew Blake would be present. And honestly, who could blame her? But here's where things get wild. Look at the pattern. First, Blake gets close to her married co-star Ben Affleck, and suddenly, his marriage with Jennifer Garner falls apart. Then, she cozies up to Ryan Reynolds, and not long after, his marriage to Scarlett Johansson is over. And both times, Blake somehow walks away with her America's sweetheart image untouched, while the women involved are left picking up the pieces. Coincidence? Maybe. But it's a little too convenient, don't you think? And Blake's drama doesn't stop at stealing husbands. She's even managed to stir up royal drama. In a move that shocked everyone, Blake mocked Kate Middleton right when the Princess of Wales was at her most vulnerable. After Kate found herself in the middle of a Photoshop scandal, where a family photo was clearly edited, Blake saw it as the perfect opportunity to promote her Betty Buzz beverage line. She posted a heavily edited photo of herself with the caption, "Totally not photoshopped." Zero editing whatsoever, just flawless and perfect. The timing? Crystal clear. She was taking a direct jab at Kate's PR disaster. Now, let's not forget, Kate was already recovering from major surgery, while the entire world was scrutinizing her every move, and instead of showing support, Blake took the chance to pile on, all to sell some sparkling water. Kate, being the classy royal that she is, stayed silent. But behind palace walls, sources say they were not amused by Blake's childish behavior, and this isn't the first time Blake has thrown shade at other women to boost herself. She spent years cultivating the perfect girl-next-door image, the sweet, wholesome Hollywood darling who can do no wrong. But if you look at her track record, the list of people she's rubbed the wrong way just keeps growing. From feuding with Anna Kendrick to tension with Scarlett Johansson to even Jennifer Garner throwing subtle shade, Blake's Golden Girl image is starting to crack. So now, we're seeing a new side of Blake Lively, not just a homewrecker, but someone who's willing to mock other people's struggles for her own gain. And if you think it's just scorned wives and royalty who can't stand Blake, think again. Even her own co-stars have been throwing shade at her for years. Blake Lively's on-screen friendships may have looked picture-perfect, but behind the scenes, total chaos. While fans adored her bubbly charm and effortless style, The truth is that many of her co-stars have had a much different experience working with her. Let's start with one of the most iconic TV friendships of the 2000s, Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, who played best friends Serena van der Woodsen and Blair Waldorf on Gossip Girl. On screen, their characters were inseparable, the definition of friendship goals. But off-screen, it was a completely different story. Crew members on Gossip Girl have since revealed that Leighton and Blake barely tolerated each other. The real issue? Their priorities were completely different. While Leighton was serious about her craft, dedicated to perfecting her performance, Blake was more focused on leveraging the show for fashion deals and magazine covers. This led to deep resentment between the two actresses. In fact, the tension ran so deep that when Leighton married the OC star, Adam Brody, Blake wasn't invited to the wedding. That's right. Her supposed best friend on screen was completely cut out of one of the biggest moments in Leighton's life. But Leighton isn't the only co-star who reportedly had issues with Blake. Even Henry Golding, who starred alongside her in A Simple Favor, seemed less than thrilled about working with her. While he publicly claimed that he was intimidated by her, insiders say it was more like irritated. Why? Because Blake had a habit of pausing production if she didn't like the way she looked in a shot. Imagine an entire crew waiting around, just because one actress wasn't happy with how her hair or makeup appeared on camera. It's no wonder Henry found her difficult to work with. Then there's Penn Badgley, Blake's real-life ex-boyfriend and Gossip Girl co-star. Their off-screen romance was a huge deal at the time, but after their breakup, things on set reportedly got extremely awkward. Penn has since thrown some subtle yet undeniable shade at Blake. In one interview, he gushed about how much he adored his former co-stars. Except for one glaring omission, Blake Lively. Considering they played love interests for years, that silence spoke volumes. But perhaps the most awkward co-star relationship? Blake Lively versus Anna Kendrick. The two played best friends turned enemies in A Simple Favor, but their real-life dynamic was anything but friendly. According to sources from the production, Anna and Blake never truly hit it off. While Anna is known for being quirky and down-to-earth, Blake reportedly came across as high-maintenance and dismissive of the crew. One insider even claimed that Blake treated the people on set as if they were extras in The Blake Lively Show. The tension between Anna and Blake became so noticeable that fans started to pick up on it. Anna rarely mentioned Blake on social media, avoided sharing photos of them together, and even skipped some promotional events where Blake was present. When they did appear together, their awkward body language was impossible to ignore. The situation got so bad that when A Simple Favor 2 was announced, people immediately began speculating about whether Anna would even agree to work with Blake again. Some fans were so turned off by Blake's reputation that they refused to support the sequel at all. This seems to be a pattern with Blake Lively. She somehow manages to alienate almost everyone she works with, yet still maintains her America's sweetheart image. But how does she pull it off? Even Hollywood's ultimate bachelor, Leonardo DiCaprio, couldn't handle Blake Lively's intensity. In 2011, the two briefly dated, and at first it seemed like a match made in celebrity heaven. But instead, Blake Lively's whirlwind romance with Leonardo DiCaprio should have been a Hollywood fairy tale. She was young, beautiful, and at the height of her Gossip Girl fame, while he was Hollywood's most sought-after bachelor. But instead of a picture-perfect love story, their relationship crashed and burned within months. So, what went so horribly wrong? According to insiders, Blake was doing way too much. She wasn't just dating Leo, she was auditioning to be part of his ultra-famous, ultra-exclusive circle of friends. And if there's one thing we all know about Leo, he prefers women who are effortlessly cool, laid back, and drama-free. Unfortunately for Blake, her over-the-top attempts to impress him had the complete opposite effect. One of the most bizarre details? Blake reportedly had a habit of sending Leo pictures of a Barbie doll. Yes, you read that right. A grown woman was texting doll photos to one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Apparently, she thought it would be a cute inside joke, but Leo? Not amused. Instead of finding it charming, he was reportedly turned off by how try-hard it all felt. It's no surprise that when they split, Leo wasted no time moving on, right back to his usual type, stunning, low-key models. And unlike his other exes, whom he's remained friendly with, Leo has never publicly acknowledged Blake since their breakup. For a man who's famously amicable with his exes, that says a lot. But Blake's drama didn't stop with Leo. Her latest controversy with Justin Baldoni has ripped open the floodgates, exposing a pattern of behavior that many are only now beginning to piece together. Her ugly legal battle over It Ends With Us has turned into a PR nightmare, with Blake accused of manipulating the project for her own benefit. Fans, co-stars, and even Hollywood insiders are taking a closer look at her past, and suddenly, everything is clicking. This isn't new behavior for Blake. This is just the first time she's being publicly called out for it. The mask has finally slipped. For years, Blake has cultivated the perfect girl-next-door image, the sweet, wholesome Hollywood darling who can do no wrong. But the growing list of people she's rubbed the wrong way tells a different story. From Jennifer Garner to Scarlett Johansson to Anna Kendrick, the list of A-listers who've had major issues with Blake just keeps growing. Meanwhile, Jennifer Garner is thriving. She's back in the spotlight with Deadpool and Wolverine, happily, dating John Miller, and still co-parenting with Ben Affleck like a pro. Meanwhile, Blake? She's fighting for her Hollywood survival. With her reputation on thin ice, the big question is, will she ever take accountability, or will she continue to play the victim while those around her distance themselves? Judging by her track record, we already know the answer. So, there you have it. The real reason Jennifer Garner, and so many others, can't stand Blake Lively. From breaking up marriages to feuding with co-stars to even mocking royalty, Blake has left a trail of burned bridges in her wake. But what do you think? Is Blake really the homewrecker Hollywood paints her to be, or is she just misunderstood? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more Hollywood tea, because trust me, this drama, it's far from over.